Welcome back to the Almost Gone podcast. I'm Robert Routt. This is episode 6, Learning to Live Again. Survival is a strange thing. It's not just about the moment your heart starts beating again, or the day you open your eyes after weeks in the dark. It's about what comes after, the slow, painful process of putting the pieces back together again, of relearning how to exist in a world that feels both familiar and foreign all at once. For me, that process began the moment I woke up in the ICU, hooked up to machines, barely able to move. It began with the realization that the life I'd known before was gone, shattered into a million unrecognizable fragments by the force of what I had endured. At first, it was the physical challenges that consumed me, the weakness in my muscles, the atrophy that had set in after weeks of stillness, the wound on my arm, a gaping, angry reminder of just how close I had come to slipping away forever. Every moment was a battle, every small task a mountain to be climbed. But even as my body slowly began to heal, I started to regain some semblance of strength and control. I realized that the real work of recovery was only just the beginning, because it wasn't just my physical self that needed to be rebuilt. It was my mind, it was my spirit, my very sense of who I was and what place in the world my place might be now. Those early days in the hospital were a blur of pain and frustration, of small victories and crushing setbacks. I had to relearn everything. I had to relearn how to sit up, how to feed myself, how to take a single step without collapsing. It was humbling in a way I'd never experienced before, to be so utterly dependent on others for even the most basic of needs. But through it all, there was a flicker of determination that refused to be extinguished, a stubborn, unshakable will to keep going, to keep fighting for the life that had almost been taken from me. And with each passing day, each small triumph over the limitations of my own body, that flicker began to grow. It wasn't a smooth or easy journey. There were moments of despair, of anger and grief so profound that it threatened to swallow me whole. Moments when the enormity of what I had lost, the person I had been before, seemed too vast to even contemplate. But even in the darkest of those moments, there was always a hand to hold, a voice to guide me back to the light. My family, my friends, the medical professionals who fought so tirelessly at my side. They were the anchors that kept me tethered to this world, the lifelines that pulled me back from the brink time and time again. They celebrated my victories, no matter how small, and held me up when I faltered, reminding me with every word and gesture that I was not alone, that I had a reason to keep going. And slowly, painstakingly, I began to piece myself back together. Not just my body, but my mind and my soul as well. I started to find joy again in simple things. A warm breeze on my face, the laughter of my loved ones, the feeling of taking a step without pain. I started to let go of the person I had been and to embrace the person I was becoming. Someone stronger, wiser, more deeply aware of the preciousness and fragility of life. It wasn't a transformation that happened overnight. It was a process. It was a journey of 1,000 tiny steps and a million moments of choice. The choice to keep going, even when every fiber of my being wanted to give up. The choice to find gratitude in the midst of pain. To seek out beauty and meaning in a world that had once seemed so dark and chaotic. And as I made those choices day after day, something extraordinary began to happen. The scars on my body, the wounds that had once seemed so raw and insurmountable, they started to fade, not entirely, not in a way that erased the memory of what I had endured, but in a way that made room for something new, something born of the very struggle and suffering that had almost broken me. I started to see myself differently, not as a victim of circumstance, but as a survivor, a warrior who clawed my way back from the edge of oblivion. I started to find strength in my own resilience, in the knowledge that I had faced the unthinkable and emerged on the other side, changed but unbroken. And with that strength came a new sense of purpose, a burning desire to use the second chance that God gave me to make a difference in the world, to share my story, and to offer hope and light to others who might be struggling in their own darkness, to be a living testament to the power of human spirit, to the idea that even in our darkest moments, we are never truly alone. It was a purpose that would come to define the rest of my life. The driving force behind every choice, every step forward. And as I began to live into that purpose, as I started to share my truth with others and to see the impact it could have, I realized that my story, my suffering, had not been for nothing. It had been a crucible, a trial by fire that had burned away everything that was not essential, everything that did not serve the person I was meant to become. And in the ashes of that fire, I had found something unbreakable, something that could never be taken from me again, a sense of my own worth, my own strength, my own unshakable connection to the world around me. Learning to live again after coming so close to death was not an easy journey. It was messy, painful, full of many setbacks and challenges at every turn. But it was also a journey of profound transformation, of discovering depths of resilience and beauty and meaning that I never could have imagined before. And as I sit here right now, looking back on all that I've been through, I am filled with this sense of gratitude, so vast that it takes my breath away. Gratitude for the second chance I was given, for the love and support that carried me through the darkest of times. Gratitude for the scars I bear, both visible and invisible, and for the hard-won wisdom that they represent. But most of all, gratitude for the simple, profound, extraordinary gift of being alive, of waking up each morning and drawing a breath, of having the chance to make a difference, to be loved and to love. to experience all the beauty and heartbreak and wonder that this world has to offer. It is a gift that I will never again take for granted, a precious and fragile thing that I will cherish and protect with every fiber of my being. And it is a gift that I will spend the rest of my days sharing with others, offering up my own story as a beacon of hope and light in a world that can sometimes feel so dark and overwhelming. Because if there's one thing I've learned through all of this, one truth that I will carry with me always, it is this. Even in the midst of the greatest suffering, the deepest despair, there is always a way forward. There's always a reason to keep going, to keep fighting for the life and the love and the meaning that we all deserve. And that reason for me is the knowledge that my story, my struggle, my survival, it matters because it has the power to touch and to change and inspire others, to offer hope and comfort and strength to those who may be facing their own battles, their own moments of darkness and doubt. And it matters because it is a testament to the unbreakable spirit that lives within each and every one of us. The spirit that refuses to be broken, that insists on finding a way forward, no matter how impossible the odds may seem. So to anyone who may be listening, anyone who may be struggling to find their way through their own darkness, know that you are not alone. Know that your story, your pain, and your survival, it matters more than you could ever imagine. And know that no matter how lost or broken or hopeless you may feel, there is always a way back to the light. There's always a reason to keep going, to keep fighting for the life and the love and the meaning that you deserve. You just have to be willing to take the first step, to reach out for the hands that are waiting to hold you, to lean into the love and the support and the strength that's around you, even in your darkest moments. And then one day at a time, one breath at a time, one tiny courageous step at a time, you'll find your way back to hope, back to healing, and back to the person you were always meant to be. It won't be easy. And it won't be quick or painless or without its own setback of challenges and setbacks all along the way. But it would be worth it. Every tear, every scar, every moment of doubt and fear and struggle. At the end of that long and winding road back to life and love and meaning, you will find something so precious, so unbreakable, and so utterly miraculous that it will take your breath away. You will find yourself, your whole, imperfect, beautiful self, scars and not. And that is the greatest gift of all. Thank you for listening to Chapter 6 of Almost Gone. I'm Robert Routt. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. Visit me at robertroutt.com or reach out anytime. Until the next time, keep going, keep fighting, and keep living.